You're probably thinking, what's this miniature railway got to do with the visit to the London Underground depot over in Acton? Well, let me tell you. Have you seen any other small gauge railways with its own London Underground roundels? No, me neither, so here's a first. Yes, welcome to Acton, and if you don't want to walk all the way round, yes, you can grab this miniature railway instead. Anyway, we'll show you it again at the end, and we'll show you it actually running. So, welcome to the Acton depot of the London Underground, and this is the place to come if you've already been to the Covent Garden London Transport Museum, but you fancy seeing a little bit more. Now, let me start off by telling you the depot is not open all of the time, and it's only open on special occasions, so you'll need to Google it to find out when different events are happening. Then you'll need to make sure you've got your tickets in advance, because tickets do sell out very quick. But is it worth coming here? Come and have a look inside. I think you'll agree. If you love transport, then you definitely think it will be. There's all sorts of buses and trains here on display, so it's well worth getting down here to come and have a look at some of the old things from the London transport. The great thing also with the depot is you can get up and close and personal to some of these things. Now, you can't get on board a lot of the things, but you can get really close and have a good look. And how about these as a starting point, some trams? At the start of the museum, it's certainly covered by the various buses that have been used around London, and also some of which have appeared previously in the London Transport Museum over at Covent Garden, and we'll have a link to that video at the end of this one. Then they'll bring the ones from the Covent Garden Museum to here for storage and also for show again maybe at some point later. Now, the museum depot at Acton here is great because not only has it got the obligatory gift shop, but it's also got souvenirs and various things that you can buy here which you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else, which are quite often collector's items. Plus, also it's got a lecture theatre, so a number of times when they've got exhibitions on here at Acton, you can go along and you can go and attend those and hear different people speak about different parts of the London Underground, depending on, of course, what the exhibition actually is. And that's all free as well as part of your ticket for getting in. Ticket prices, they will vary depending on the event. Also, when they've got an exhibition on here as well, there's a guide sheet they give you, so you may have seen a number of the exhibitions have got different stars and numbers. That relates to the guide sheet that they give you. Now, if you're looking at this green and silver tube train and thinking, I don't recognise it, the reason you don't is actually it's a prototype tube vehicle from 1986, and it was used for testing in the Central Line during that year, and it had all different developments, and it was prototyped mainly for testing then, but it did see brief spells of passenger service on the Jubilee Line in 1988 and 1989. One thing also to mention is the accessibility, and as you can see, a number of the different items have got ramps, which therefore means it's easily accessible if you're in a chair or in a mobility scooter. The only areas you may find slightly more difficult is you won't be able to get up to the smaller areas that overlook the whole depot up on the first floor, but they are quite minimal in comparison. I think my favourite part of the exhibition, which you can probably tell already, was being able to get on and off some of these trains. Yep, you can almost imagine yourself hurtling through the London Underground on these from years gone by. Believe it or not, this train is almost 100 years old. It comes from 1927 and was used on the Piccadilly, Northern and Central lines until the 1960s. You can also tell from being here in the museum they've been kept in a fantastic way as well, so they are there for many more years to come for people to come down and enjoy. Now, if you like travelling around London and videos covering that sort of topic, then I've put a playlist together for you of our videos covering different transport across London, and that's in the top right hand corner. This was the type of tube train I used to go up and down on, and funnily enough on the same Northern Line that this is mapped, and this is also probably why they don't let people like me onto museum pieces like that. Because when you've got one of those spring holding things when you're standing up, you just got to give it a twang. Yes! Really hope you're enjoying our video, and if you are, do us a favour and give us a big thumbs up, will you? This will help us spread this video to more people on YouTube so that they can love London as well, and also discover something about this depot. There's such a variety of things stored here, so having the space here really helps, and I remember those ticket machines we've just gone past from when I was really young. Plus I also remember the tickets they used to give you. And 40p to do a trip anywhere on the London Underground? Yep, I don't think you'll get anywhere near that now. And how about some of these boards as well from some of the stations showing you where the next trains are coming into, which of course are now all digital across the platforms. This is just certainly one of those places that you can just walk around at your own pace, and you'll always discover something new each time you visit. I thought this was rather novel as well, a piece of the old wooden escalators, which then goes into a pair of steps so you can manually walk your way up to the next floor, so you can have a good look over the whole depot. The view round here gives you an idea of how big the depot is, and also just some of the exhibits on display here, so you can make sure you get around and see as much as possible. Also up on the first floor in a different part, you've got all of these maps from different stations when they've been renovated, taken out, and a number of them have come here to the depot for preservation. And not only have you got the direction maps, but you've also got roundels from various stations, and then a whole section of London Underground maps. From this one made entirely from Lego, to all sorts of different London Underground maps, which also then, if you look at them, will sort of date themselves as different parts of the railways opened and closed. And then to top it off, you've got this entranceway, which obviously came from Kensington High Street Station, which has been stored here as well. And to me, amazingly, this looks extremely familiar because this used to be the destination board at Baker Street Station, which I used to look at when I used to work in Baker Street over in the mid-1980s. As you can see from the earlier aerial shots, you can see lots of different trains that are available, a number of which you can stick your head in, and some of which you can actually get in and go and sit in the seats as well. So you really have got great things open on display. I can't emphasise enough, this depot over at Acton is not open all the time, so you must Google to find out when they've got different open days on, and make sure you get your tickets in advance so you just don't turn up and then be disappointed when you can't get in. But as you can see, with the things they've got on display, it's well worth a visit, and whether you come down here and spend half an hour or an hour, you can spend as much time as you like. You'll also find when they're putting events on, they're normally on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday to make sure that they can capture people that are at school or at work to come at the weekend, but that's when it's at its busiest. So what did you think of the London Underground Museum, the depot over here at Acton? Did it have everything you wanted, or were there things missing that you were hoping to see? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, as we take the train back to Acton Town Station from the depot, I'm going to leave you with a video of the London Transport Museum over at Covent Garden, and that's well worth a visit if you haven't been there. If you click on that, I'll see you in there.